Hello and welcome to the Assetto Corsa Competizione Sim Series. I'm your host, Gareth Runther. It's showing the wrong track. It was showing the wrong track. I realise. My bad. We are not, in fact, at the Nürburgring anymore. We're at the wonderful Spa-Francorchamps. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the race. It's very, very bright and shiny right now, but I promise it won't stay that for long because this is our night race of the season. We always like to have one guaranteed wet race and one guaranteed night race. So this is going to be that. So a lot of the BMWs have chosen to take partially or fully black liveries just to troll me, I think. And so I am once again going to be playing around with some new technology, having some fun. But there we go. And yeah, hopefully just enjoying ourselves out here. It's our normal 1 hour procedure if you guys are new to ACCSS. 1 hour race with a mandatory pit stop and a 15-minute qualifying. This is a pro split, the best of our boys. And so I've got a little program up here which is going to show me the length of their pit stops so we can really see who is doing who as we see the cars rolling out for the start of the race. That's Shane Thomas in leading the pack out. He managed to get that DT spot at the start of the pit lane. So yeah, welcome everybody. Good to see everybody. Thank you for coming. We finally don't have F1 messing us up or missing a stream for me. So good to see you all. Hopefully we'll have some good numbers of people. Here is Shane's car. Complimented Shane on his livery earlier. I think it's a good choice. It's a really nice looking BMW. Not a lot of them are also nice looking, I will warn you. Although that line isn't nice looking either. Come on, Shane. So we'll see if we can get some good times today. I haven't honestly been on Spa much this week, and so I don't know what the good times are. People in chat have some times for me to be looking out for what is fast around here. I've unfortunately been very busy and had to skip some races. So obviously very long outlap here. So I probably should have spent more time yapping about non-lap stuff rather than sitting on board with them. Using this new Brewcross tool that we only have access to for a little bit, thanks to the ACC TV guys for giving us a test run with their software. So I'm going to use some slight different camera angles that you won't see as much going forward. So here we go. Come around the first corner and immediately we're going to have to stop on Steve Hughes because Shane has apparently given up. So in the Lexus coming down to the famous Eau Rouge and Radian, not the famous Turn 22, very much over the curb there, and that looks like it's going to be a lap time deleted. But hopefully he sticks out with this lap and we'll get to see it. Down to Les Combes at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Big braking on the left hand side, throw it in right, up on the curb. Try not to take too much of the second curb because we need to counter steer like mad, as we've just seen from Steve Hughes. A lot of exit curb going down towards Bruxelles. Then really got to be patient going through the corner, get on the gas, and throw it into No Name. Ooh, very sketchy on the way out there. Don't always see people changing that much, but down to 4th and 3rd even for Pouon, which is a great corner. Just throw it in. Struggling to get it hooked up here from Steve, but if you get it nice, you can really just get on the accelerator early and push your way through the whole thing. Through Campos, it's a little bit awkward. And then down to Stavelot. But to get a good exit from Stavelot without understeering too wide, you can take quite a lot of the curb. But you want to go as fast as possible to get a run down the straight, which isn't really straight, but the flat out section at least up to Broussel's lift. No lift. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a lift sort of partway through to get his turn in, I think there. Just a slight lift. And then big braking down for the chicane, the bus stop chicane, which looks nothing like a bus stop anymore. There we go, we cross the line. And we won't have a look at his lap for obvious reasons, because or his time just yet for obvious reasons. Let's have open the timetable. 2:18, the first valid lap time from Donald. Another 2:18 coming out from Ollie Henley, slightly faster. Wow. Very few laps being set, and this is Spa for you, because I'm looking at my tool and I can see that a good half of the field has crossed the finish line once. (17, 18 cars have crossed the finish, 10 of them not setting even a banker lap. So it's Brenham so far who is coming in with... Oh, this is actually fixed now. Okay, cool. I actually have access to the relative thing now, which is quite nice. I probably won't make use of that ever, but we have that if we want it. At least to Brenham, the fastest car out on track so far. It's car 75. I wasn't seeing a yellow flag for that, but it's like Roundtree just had a little bit of a... Okay, probably just giving up. But a lot of the guys near the front are on for improvements to their lap time, and obviously there are still a huge amount of people yet to set a lap time. Steve Hughes, Shane Thomas at the front of the pack, both going for their first lap times. Thank you, Smalley, my man. Happy birthday to Jack Harvey, apparently. Shouts to him. Shouts to Donald in the chats. Good to see some support coming in. Shane Thomas over the line, up into second, so a nice time from him. Really close to Brennings. Steve Hughes right behind him as well. So they both did manage to set incredible lap times when they set them. It's just before they managed to set them, it took them a little while. A lot of people going to the pits to go out to do their second round, which obviously you don't have a huge amount of time for that on this track because the outlap will take you so long. Derek Sonner's done for a huge improvement. He's looking for pole. He's looking for a huge pole as well. This is massive. Derek Son is about to cross the line. A good chunk of time ahead of Brenham. He loses a little bit at the bus stop, but still 2 tenths ahead. So a huge lap from Derek Son. One of the few men braving it out with the Bentley. Greg Ludgate. John Dudley, another one of those Bentley boys. Also on an improvement right now. So up to 10th for Ludgate. John Dudley up to 14th. Still have a few drivers down here at the bottom. Rainer Ressa, Ascari, Jamie Nuttall, Jack Harvey, Cameron Marston, all yet to set times. Rainer Ressa goes across. Jamie Nuttall still has a while to go in the Porsche. A lot of the Porsches really not doing well here. Interestingly, I've heard that the Porsche is much better here than it used to be. It used to be a pretty tragic here. But I've heard from some Porsche drivers some good things. However, all of the Porsche drivers I've heard it from are in the BMW this season. So maybe that's just them. Jamie Nuttall and Ascari have both been pretty fast guys fighting up near the front. So we'll stick with these lads and see what they can do in terms of speed-wise. Have a look at setup. You can set up with this tool a speed trap. So I'm going to set up a speed trap and see what people are doing, because that was obviously the big problem. Jamie Nuttall up into 10th. There we go. That's much better. He's now the first Porsche just ahead of Oliver Robu. We are now up the run towards Rouge, or towards Le Combe, sorry. We'll see where people get to. So they get across the speed trap. We've had our first few cars cross, so we can talk about a couple of these guys. Jamie Nuttall in the Porsche 257. She's looking reasonably good compared to some of them. Oh, it seems like you can see a real difference in setup between some of the people who are lower down and higher up in here. A lot of the people who are low down in the order with these really low speed trap times. But everyone above Jamie Nuttall has faster times of at least 4 kilometers per hour. Jack Harvey still yet to set a lap time. He's the only one lower down than Nuttall with a better speed trap so far. Actually, Max Diggs with a 259 kilometers per hour. Most of the cars in the 260s, and some of them down in 240s. So, it's not the greatest speeds from the Porsches at the end of the straight. Yeah, the M4 has replaced it so far. We'll have to see how much this continues, however. Obviously, it has the sort of advantage of being the new thing right now. We'll see how many people stick with it. There's always going to be one car which is sort of the popular one. It was the Porsche, and then it was the Lexus, and then it was the Aston, and now it's the BMW. So Jack Harvey, but paying attention to this lad because he is looking to set his first valid lap time. And hopefully going to rocket himself up the order. He had a mega time in the speed trap. Lexus has always been good on the straights. And there he is, up to 8th position. Marston and Ascari both struggling to set a valid lap. Ascari is not going to get to do so unless he leaves real soon. Even then, it'll be a struggle. So he's going to be there with no time. Marston might be similar because he's on an invalid lap right now. Ollie Henley here was right up fighting for pole earlier on, but the pole timers just keep creeping forwards, and he has not managed to creep with them. He is on an improvement, though, a pretty big improvement that could lead him right up to fighting with those guys. So lost a little bit of time through Blanchemont. And then a little bit of time through the hairpin as well. So he was looking for very close to pole, but he's going to have to settle with third position for now. Next driver to come around to set a lap time is Donald. Also pretty close to the pole time. Ollie Henley, Steve Hughes, both on improvements as well. There is an improvement there. Steve Hughes. Steve Hughes is right there. Jumps right the way up to second place. Only a 10th behind Derek Sun. By far the closest we've seen so far. Still has another chance to go for a lap as well. A couple more drivers who are pretty close. Martin Roundtree much further down, but is on a bit of an improvement. Jack Harvey, Shane Thomas, Ollie Henley all looking for improvements as well. Jack Harvey's only just started his lap. So the next car that has possibilities for an improvement going around is going to be Shane Thomas. Here we go, Shane Thomas with a bit of an improvement, jumps up to third. Right behind him, Ollie Henley with a big improvement, jumps up to second, within a 10th of the leader. Who's next? Steve Hughes. Steve Hughes is right on the bubble of improvement, which with how close he is to pole, is a lot. How do I keep getting the wrong one here? That's the... Oh! I wasn't even concentrating there. But he's thrown himself straight in the wall. Let's see that from an outside camera. Just... Oh, he invalidates. He invalidates and he's triggered. Fair enough, as we now see... Who's left? Car 44, Nico Schmitz. With a hideous livery that I love. I've got to say... Like, this is gaudy and awful, but I really like it. If that silver was gold instead, I'd be fully on board with this, right? Or another sort of more pastel color like the rest of the car. The wheels could do with being a more pastel purple, honestly. But that's a good improvement for Nico. Who's next here? Jack Harvey. Oh, he's been it right near the end. So the next big one is going to be Oystein Brenham. This could be big as well. Oh, second place. Only just ahead of Henley. Look how close those two are together. And then the final car out on track is fan favorite Robert Brenning. One of the old school of ACCSS. He has that wheel in real life as well. So he's full immersion mode right now as he comes through the last corner. Gets on the gas. Big improvement coming in, but he lost so much of that at the end. He would have been real close to having another place or two if he'd finished off that lap. But not quite. And that has put us into a situation where we are going to go into the race with an incredibly close front of the grid there between the three BMW drivers. And unfortunately for us, still the the nameplates in the broadcasting thing are broken. You can see the map flash as I try to press the button to activate them, but they are not here. So I'm going to keep this UI up a little bit, which colors the stream a bit. It sort of ruins the whole grid walk thing, but at least lets me see the names of these people, like Derek Sun, who is in pole position, followed by Oyston Brennan. And third BMW in a row with Ollie Henley, before Steve Hughes in the Lexus breaks up this nice little pairing. Steve Hughes moving from the Bentley after the new patch. And in fifth position, Shane Thomas, who is flanked by Steve Donald, both in BMWs again. And then behind them, where am I lost? I'm lost, yeah, Caleb, there we go. Caleb in the Audi before Nico Schmitz. Two nice bright coloured cars there. Then we get Jack Harvey in the Lexus. And Tim Miro in another BMW. The first of the Porsches for Jamie Nuttall. Not a great Porsche track, so a good run there by him in front of Mr. T. Jonathan Schungel in the one and only, I believe, Mercedes AMG, with the first of the Bentleys, Greg Ludgate next to him. Octavian Robu in 15th position. 15th is the last of the points-paying position for what we do. Behind them, Robert Brenning, a very colourful Audi, in the first of the Ferraris, driven by Martin Roundtree, John Dudley, Mindaugas Sortulas, Rainer Ressa, Max Diggs, Cameron Marston, and then Ascari. Cameron Marston and Ascari, I believe, both didn't manage to set lap times during their time on the grid. So, as our cars go off on the longest formation lap in the game, I believe, we are going to head to some highlights. Thank you all for joining us.
Bring the smell of rain into my bed and lie so close to me. You could be inside my head. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing to feel the kind of magic that your love brings. This cool land
So here we are, beginning of our 1 hour night race around Spa. As we are about to come around turn 1 at the source. And obviously, in GT Racing, they start going down the hill. So as we move up towards the start line, Derek Sun in first position, followed by Mr. Brenham. Here we go, he should be going green. So run down to the edge of that Audi there, that's Caleb. He got an incredibly good start. There's actually a couple of good starters around that sort of area. Oh, and then Caleb just taps with the BMW. A couple of people are trying to get around him, but he's stuck on the thing. Big ram from behind as well, as this car's spinning off everywhere at the first corner. A little bit of chaos there as we move towards the front, fighting for first position as well. And this pack of leaders has really managed to pull out from everybody else. Here we go, here's the pack just behind our leaders. Still pretty tight here. These are all the guys who managed to escape that carnage successfully early on. You can see how our order is. Derek Sun is still leading the pack, followed by Brenham, Henley, Hughes and Thomas. It looks like Thomas is sort of the last of that early train, and then there is a bit of a gap back to the rest, but that gap is sort of closing there. It looks like Jamie Nuttall is within the last sector, taking that position off of Nico Schmitz. And then Miro T, Shungle, Brenning, Ludgate, Roundtree, Dudley, Robu, Sortulus, Ascari, Harvey, all in pretty close order before Donald Diggs, Resser and Calb. Donald being the BMW, I believe, that Calb came into contact with early on there. A little bit deep there from Derek Sun, so that's put him under some slight pressure from up ahead. Going on board with Brenham to follow Sun down Eau Rouge for the first time. Very easy run up Eau Rouge and Radian for these guys in the BMW. A lot of people going wide behind here. People struggling a little bit more with it. Jamie Nuttall there had a really bad late comment and has fallen right back into Nico Schmitz. Further back the order, Jack Harvey really scraped up. Looks like he was one of them caught up in the earlier scrap. He's now trying to pull his way back up through the field. Really close around here for first position. Trying to put the nose in is Ollie Brenham around the outside, but he just gets the door absolutely closed on him by Derek Sun. But these two slowing themselves down into the grasps of Ollie Henley slightly there. Oh, nice and wide. Luckily there are track limits because we are not in a wet race, as we experienced earlier on. The wet races can be quite outrageous when it comes to their track limits. Guys being nice and aggressive here, however. Got real close pack engaged in combat right at the front. Good to see. Still really close. And the further pack behind them not hugely far, even though there was that huge crash. So it looks like Thomas Ascari and Steve Donald have been in a contact as well. Try and see if we can find them in the replay. Oh, there we go. Just deep and a bit of an awkward rejoin there. Back out of the replay, and those two still fighting over at the back. Nico Schmitz has had a little bit of an incident while we weren't looking as well. He's fallen slightly back and is still in this battle. Just ahead of him, going real close, Shane Thomas with Steve Hughes. Scrapping for 4th position here. Through the second sector, pretty much nose to tail. Then further back we have a nice freeway scrap activating here. John Dudley has just pushed his way past Jack Harvey, and both of them have Octavian Robu just on their tail. Oh, Jack Harvey going to be looking for the outside. Really slidey there, though. Had to correct that, which lost him a lot of time. But there's a car spinning off. Is that the Audi? That is, yeah, that is Robert Brenning. Incredibly easy to do there from Robert Brenning. Speaking from experience as someone who was driving the Audi around here not hugely long ago, very unstable in these super high-speed, flat-out corners, and you can see just as he comes around. Oh, he claps the curb. That makes it even worse. Big shunt into the wall there. No wonder he's returning to pits. Absolutely battered it. Jonathan Shungle now in combat with Mr. T. Slightly on from that as well. You can see the Shane Thomas, Steve Hughes beef still going on. Just slightly ahead of this. And Jack Harvey did manage to get around John Dudley there, so good job from him. Still on his quest to pull himself up the order. Martin Roundtree is his next target. Big fight here. Shane Thomas actually getting pressured by Nico Schmitz now. Nico Schmitz actually sharing the fastest lap with Brennan, but going real wide there. Manages to get back on without losing too much. Without losing a position at least, but he's now right with Jamie Nuttall. And up the front still, these BMWs are absolutely locked together. Brenham, sharing the fastest lap of the race there, is stuck to the back of Derek Sun. Just not quite able to make a move yet. Derek Sun staying ahead as of now. This battle is going to keep on going. Martin Roundtree's been overtaken by the Lexus. That has slowed him down enough to be now pressured by the Bentley. Bentley doesn't quite get a great line from there, which puts this Porsche right on his back. Now we have this whole little crew of cars trying to follow Jack Harvey down. With Lexus having huge straight line speed, so we're going to be seeing that one absolutely pull ahead. Bentley there with a bad run through Rouge Radian. Shane Thomas still fighting with Steve Hughes. Some of these battles looking to go on pretty much forever. Miro on the back of Nuttall. Yeah, we saw that sadly, Rob. That's a really easy way to go in the Audi. Super hard through there. We're going to look at the front again. Have a look back from the rear wing of Derek Sun. So, still incredibly close for the lead. Still with our weird tied fastest lap. Getting super close here as well. This could definitely be a place for an attempted dive. Placing his car right in the middle of the track is Derek Sun. Stiggs and Kalb have both taken their first pit. As we've had a car go round in the first corner. We'll have to see what happened there. Jonathan Schungel, one of those involved. Looks like him and Mr. T had a coming together perhaps. You can see Mr. T just ahead of him there. Right behind this BMW. Slows for the corner and turns in, and Jonathan just clonks him around on the way through. So that's going to be probably penalty coming through. I don't know if there are any penalties for the first lap incident. I don't think so. Oh no, there we go. Donald got one. But yeah, that might be a penalty coming through there for that one. Out of the replay now. Still at the front. Everything close. Still just behind. Things are close. Shane Thomas ahead of Steve Hughes now, and Nico Schmitz is the new challenger. Trying to make it a five-way BMW fight at the front. Further up, the game seems to be slightly confused. No, where's Derek Sun? Derek Sun is behind. Derek Sun has fallen back. Oh my lord, can we catch that? We cannot catch that. That is unfortunate, but something has happened to Derek Sun. He must have made a mistake somewhere while we were in that replay. Because you can see those two BMWs out ahead of him are now Oyston Brennan, who has taken the lead, and Ollie Henley. Derek Sun. Ollie Henley now taking over the fastest lap, by the way. What is his fastest lap? 2:19.007. So he's hyped for the James Bond movie being released on streaming services. Jonathan Schungel getting into the pits to immediately clear his 10-second pit stop. Normal pit stop around here is just over 130 seconds. If Steve Donald and Max Diggs are anything to go by, they might have had to repair damage those. But that does sound about right. Ah, that's really unfortunate, Guillaume there, saying in chat that his wheel has died today, and that's why he's not racing. People were asking where Guillaume was earlier. Side by side here, Jack Harvey with Greg Ludgate still making his way through the field after the early incident. Oh, this pack in front of here getting a little bit aggy. Nico really close to Steve Hughes. Is going to look around the outside. Not a great place to be able to do that there. Can try and get a better exit, but very tricky. Okay, so definitely damage on some of the other cars, because Jonathan Schungel with a 1:28 pit stop, that is including his 10 seconds of penalty. So we'll have to look up again when some of these things are happening. Here is Nico going for it again. Just in front of them, you can see the other battle as well between Hughes and Thomas, is it? No, sorry, it's Thomas and Derek Sun. But Derek Sun keeps that position, and so far Hughes is keeping it, but they're still side by side. Inside line for Steve Hughes is going to end that little episode. Shane Thomas now going through Peel, and he's doing a really good job of sticking to the back of Derek Sun. Derek Sun was leading this race, of course, earlier on. A few battles still looking to be fought early on. Jamie Nuttall still managing to stick to the back of these. Really good work there, considering his lack of straight line speed in that car. Got a couple of cars now at the back who are just sort of all over the place. Nico Smits coming into the pit lane. So everyone's starting to spread out a bit. We're into that sort of middle phase of the race now, where we're going to see less people close together. Quite a while. Lots of people just taking the pits, although this is actually coming around the first corner side by side between Martin Roundtree and Greg Ludgate. Now that Roundtree's no longer challenging Dudley, he has Sortulus looking up his inside, but doesn't make it stick. Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry about that. That's the one we were looking for. A lot of our cars going into the pits now at this point. Derek Sun fighting for third position with Shane Thomas. Oyston Brennan and Ollie Henley are still out the front leading this race, although not as close together as they once were. Nico Schmitz leading those who have pit so far, both on track and with the fastest pit stop. Really bad stop for Reina Ressa. 144 seconds of time from entry to exit. We focus on this battle between these two BMWs in third place, the closest scrap that is continuously going on the track so far. A little bit deep there for Shane Thomas. Gonna put him off the line slightly. As you can see, a wiggle from Derek Sun. Looks like further up, Ollie Henley and Brennan may have discovered a back marker. Gets nicely out of the way. It's one of the Porsches. Have a good one, Rob. Was nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by on the stream. Sit on board with one of the Superior race cars down at the bottom where all the Superior race cars hang out. Good race so far. Most of the carnage happening at Eau Rouge Radion, with a couple of people getting caught up in that. Octavian Arobi, Max Diggs, Reina Ressa, Steve Donald. And then since then we had Jonathan Schungel into the back of one of the BMWs. I believe that was Steve Donald again. Nico Schmitz leading those who've pit. Brenning leading the race so far. Shane Thomas, Derek Sun, this battle that we're watching now. These are the guys who are closest on the grid so far. Steve Donald still sitting with that 10-second penalty. Jonathan Schungel having served his. Nico Schmitz with 1:15-second pit stop. 115 seconds, that is. That is the fastest so far. And Ollie Henley holding the fastest lap of a 2:18.412. So some fantastic race pace coming out from these guys. There we go, pits. Was there one in the pits? Oh no, my thing just freaked out and said someone was going slow and they weren't. Ignore me. Pits for Steve Hughes. Shane Thomas. Ahead of Derek Sun there. Yeah, I'm going to have to look back at a replay of this and see. Oh, yeah. Shane Thomas spun Derek round. That's why my program was saying someone had gone slowly. He got back going very fast there, though. He's given a little flash to show his annoyance to Shane Thomas, but that will be definitely a penalty, obviously, coming in for Shane Thomas. So an unfortunate one there. Ooh, going wide as well. So that puts Shane Thomas up into a third position, but a third position that very well might not last for too long. And Jamie Nuttall now right on the back of Derek's son. Steve Hughes and Thomas Ascari both going in for their pit stops. Out of those who have pit, Nico Schultz is still in the lead. He is in a pretty decent position overall. Nico Schultz should be about up with these guys in the sort of top 5 once he gets back, once everyone else is pit. Should end up about 7th. So that is where Nico Schmitz is for comparison's sake. So there's Steve Hughes coming out of the pits. He is in the lead of those who have pit. So there you can see Nico Schmitz just behind. So Hughes was back there just a little bit behind Thomas's son. He'd been battling with Nuttall. So that gives you an idea of about where these guys are. Getting very close there. Gonna put his car aggressively into pith path. Is kind of putting his nose in there. Hopefully just slowing the Lexus down, but nothing coming at it so much. A few more battles to keep an eye on further back. The Ferrari Cup back here between Roundtree and Sortulus. Then obviously Nico Schmitz and Steve Hughes still in combat. Jamie Nuttall chasing down Derek Sun. leaders also seem to be coming up upon more back markers. Just nicely getting out the way there is car 88. That's Thomas Ascari, who's just not wanting to get into too much trouble. Ferrari Cup, however, going strong. That is very interesting little glitch I've got there. Look at that. Just a bad camera on the Ferrari? That is a bad camera on the Ferrari, okay. One of our Ferrari cameras, it turns out, is broken. Good to know. We're still getting the Ferrari Cup battle here for a little bit. Really close. There we go, into the pit for Martin Roundtree. So a long run now, but you can see a ton of our drivers are in the pits now. Shane Thomas, Jamie Nuttall, Jack Harvey, Greg Ludgate, and Martin Roundtree all going in for their pit stops. Yep, no McLarens in the top split right now. Car that, interestingly, has been dropped by the wayside by many of our guys. Here we're having, it looks like, a ton of people leaving the pits. You can see a car there in the pit lane who's just coming out between these lot. Nico Schmidt's side by side with him. The Porsche there just settling in behind them. Gonna be hard to keep track of exactly where everyone is for a little while, seeing as everyone is so close. Brenneman's son going into the pits. Oh, an overtake there on the grass by Jonathan Schungel. He's just seen Ludgate coming out the pits, and he wants that position immediately on his fresher tyres, straight to the grass. Derek's son now still chugging down the pit lane. Him, Brennan, and Sortulis in, meaning John Dudley, Tim Miro, and Ollie Henley, the only 3 cars left out on the track. About sort of 1:14, seeming like the optimum pit time so far. The best pit time at the moment is a 113, that is, obviously 0.7 seconds coming out from Shane Thomas. Brennan then coming out of the pits. He is ahead of Shane Thomas. So that is him from second back into fourth position. Gonna have to see how Ollie Henley comes out compared to him. He is going into the pits immediately. Derek Sun is also out the pits now. Just losing a position to that Lexus there, which means he should be in 11th position now. Him with Derek Sun there with a pretty slow pit stop, losing him some positions. Everyone now in the pits with just under 25 minutes to go in this. Nico Schmidt side by side. Only just given enough space there by the Lexus. That is incredible. And as we're looking at that further downfield, we have Brenham taking the leap down from La Source, but Ollie Henley is already out on track from the pit exit. Great stop, 4 seconds faster than Brenham. And that has left him nice and far in the lead. Stop go 30 for Miro. Tim Miro, that is a disaster. John Dudley, the last person left in the pits. And that time by Shane Thomas, still the best pit stop so far. Nico Schmitz chasing down Steve Hughes. These are the closest two on the track right now. Along with Steve Donald and John Dudley, who are quite close further back. Gonna try and keep an eye on both of these going on. Into the first of the two big overtaking opportunities. But Octavian Robu, it looks like, is around. Let's have a look what happened to him. Going into Pouhon. Goes a bit wide. Not quite at Pouhon yet. Here's the entrance to Pouhon. Oh, we just saw the twitch there, a little bit of a wiggle, and sends him around. Catches it reasonably straight and then gets on his way again. So not too much time lost, but it's a very frustrating one, of course. Tim Miro serving his stop-go. He's obviously going to be pretty hurt. Oh, really nice run there from Nico. Got sort of side by side, but again, it's really hard to hold that through Piff Path because your opponent just sort of has the better line. Oh, and he spun! Oh, that's a bit of a nightmare. We're going to have to go back in and have a watch of that again from an outside camera. They were doing really well being close through Pouhon. BMW just gets the slightly faster exit through there. Side by side into Piff Path. They're doing well here. And then it looks like BMW just slides around a bit too much, taps into the side of the Lexus, which doesn't take too much. Slows down a little bit, loses some momentum, but doesn't take any major throw around by the looks of it. And that has just lost Nico some time and done not too much else, luckily, for this little battle. Jamie Nuttall is catching up to the back of it, though. Ollie Henley out here, still leading the race. You can see the flash of lights there. That is Oyston Branham in the background. He is still keeping nice and close, but not quite enough to really put any extra pressure on Ollie Henley. Ollie Henley with sort of almost ACCSS livery, which I'm just not the biggest fan of. I hate the fact that it's not perfectly symmetrical. It's sort of like awkward on the front. Not a fan of this livery type. And then silver, awful, boring colour. But as ugly as his car is, his driving certainly isn't being very ugly because he is beautifully in the lead right now. It's driven fantastically. A little bit of an issue there, it looks like, for Jonathan Shungle. He's now going to have a Bentley side by side of him. A little bit of a love tap on the doors, but they're both okay. Bentley just manages to pull slightly ahead. Let's have a look what happened there. You can see going into Pouhon, absolutely no one near him, and a big slide from Shungle. Massive drift. Good catch there from the young German. And then unfortunately loses the position, but valiantly fights him through Piff Path. Right now. I've just taken Jonathan Shungle. Now I'm looking at this Nico and Steve Hughes battle. Some very clear bokehs in ACC is always interesting. Not sure bokehs are meant to be quite that clear. It's a nice effect nonetheless. So Jonathan Shungle, having lost that position, is looking for it back now. He wants revenge. Steve Donald coming up just behind them with his 10-second penalty. Jonathan Schungel there now wants to be on the back of the Bentley, but he's getting pressured himself by Donald, who is all over the back of him in that BMW. Jonathan then goes wide, comes back onto the track, has a bit of a defensive line, but goes back onto the regular line, but Donald not confident enough to make any sort of big move there. Nico Schultz as well. Interesting battle coming on through here. He's trying to go around Steve Hughes. Oh, big wiggling there from Jamie Nuttall just behind these two. With this battle going on just behind it, we're now side by side with Schungel and Ludgate. Ooh, on the inside is the BMW now, as Jonathan Schungel has rocketed past. And then, as we see for the camera from the other angle, also Nico Schmitz getting past, so two moves being made there in pretty quick succession. Nico Schmitz starting to pull away already, and the same with Schungel and Donald now. Jamie Nuttall wants to add his name to this little group as well. Looking for it right behind Nico there. Oh, looks like he got a little bit of a tap from the side there. Didn't leave a huge ton of room. Let's have a very quick look at the replay there. I mean, there's plenty of space on the edge there where you can go wide, but didn't look like the Lexus was quite in it. This is everyone here from Steve Hughes. Actually a bit further from Steve Hughes, isn't it? From Nico Schmidt down to Derek Sun. Ooh, a bit of a drift there. We're focusing here on this Lexus versus Lexus battle between Steve Hughes and Jack Harvey. My birthday, Smalley, is the 23rd of September. Remember by my race number if I ever actually get it. Steve Hughes driving for me right now. Team 23, my gang. Very sad that Alex Albon will be coming back to F1. Nothing against him, but he's going to once again steal my number, so I can't have it in the F1 game. Nice. September birthday's the best. I was discussing this yesterday at the pub. They are vastly superior to all other birthdays. Really nice exit there from Steve Hughes, pulling away nicely in the middle of this little pack. Not quite able to go flat through there. And here, slightly further up, is Steve Donald. Both of these guys got past Ludgate a little while ago, and Steve Donald is now back on Jonathan Shingle's behind. Going for it, he's putting his nose in, he's kept Jonathan off of the ideal line. Jonathan going to have to brake a little bit early to get around this corner. A little bit of door tapping. Jonathan didn't really necessarily leave enough space for Donald to not be up there on the curve and just gets sent into a bit of a half spin. He's going to flash to show his disappointment as he follows through Bruxelles. This battle will be silenced for a little bit longer. We'll go back to our big old stack of drivers here, the two Lexi in the middle of this pack. Up the front still, Ollie Henley leading the race, with Brenham pulling in a little bit closer. He's been sort of settling about a second and a half behind, and now it's a second. Max Diggs getting himself a drive-through. That's an unfortunate one. Oh, here we go, side by side. Going into the first corner between Jack Harvey and Steve Hughes. Steve Hughes still has the inside. Derek Sun could look to make this even more exciting if he wanted to. Steve Hughes with a good run. Now Jack Harvey suddenly has to be careful of Derek Sun. Derek Sun in that position now where he has to make sure not to get too close for a Rouge so he doesn't have to slow down. You can see he'd left a little bit of a gap there so that now he can absolutely fire it out of the top of Raddy and a little bit wide for Steve Hughes, so he's lost pace. Derek Sun sitting right behind him in that slipstream as Jack Harvey goes around the outside, puts himself to the inside for the position. Steve Hughes trying to go around the outside, leaves just enough space there for Derek Sun, who's being a little bit careful and not sending it into the whole heap there as Jack Harvey comes out in first. Steve Hughes stuck right behind him now. Taking a bit of a defensive line into Bruxelles, but that sends him out wide. Steve Hughes is going to try and put his nose in, but that's not going to do anything there because he's immediately on the outside again, and this time for the very fast corner of No Name, as there was a big skid from Jack Harvey. That slowed him down again. Derek Sun just keeping his nose in and trying not to punt either of these Lexi as they go slowly through one of these corners. Steve Hughes now losing a little bit of time to Jack Harvey, starting to pull away. Derek Sun just still sitting on the back of him. There's a back marker, it looks like Rainer Ressa there. And oh, Derek Sun taking that opportunity to put his nose in there a little bit, but not going to make the move. As we're back to 5 minutes left of the race. Derek Sun still looking all over the place to try and get past Steve here. We'll have a look at the battle for the front as it is getting a little bit close into that corner. Right at the end of the straight. So obviously the slipstream there helping Brenham get up into him. And so this is going to start becoming an interesting contest soon. Oh, and then there has been, it looks like, another incident. So this is side by side, Jonathan Shungle, and is that Steve Donald? I think it was who was going to take him. Steve Donald on the inside. So he just sent himself out wide. He just takes too much speed in there. So Jonathan Shungle got tagged on my software there, but wasn't actually involved in that incident. Steve Donald just sent himself off the track between them. Very close still here from Derek Sun and Steve Hughes. Yeah, I'm not sure where he went, but it definitely wasn't towards Eau Rouge and Radian, unfortunately for him. Shungle getting a 5-second penalty for, I believe, that earlier incident where he didn't give Donald any space into Les Combes, I think it was. So that means that Donald at least wouldn't have to pull out as much to get the position back on him, but I don't think that's going to really help Donald, as he's not going to get that much of pace on him anyway, I wouldn't expect. So that's more giving a possible position to Ludgate and maybe Roundtree if he's lucky, as we're incredibly close going into the chicane. Steve Donald getting close to Jonathan Shungle as well. So we'll hop onto that one as soon as this one is finished, as Steve Donald... Derek Sun, sorry, that was the other battle I was thinking of. Derek Sun going around the outside, side by side now. A little bit of a tap, but nothing really too dangerous. Doesn't manage to make it. Huge defense there from the Lexus, going down on the inside towards Eau Rouge. We're going to have hit them in one box. So we can look here where we're seeing the move get made. That is Jonathan Shungle losing the place to Steve Donald finally. Really clean move there from Donald, which allows us to go straight back to this other fight here, which is still in the same way as it was. Dives out into Les Combes, but not making the move, just showing his nose. Then over the other side of the track, Thomas Ascari looks like he has had a little bit of a nightmare. Going out really wide. I hope that's not all it was. But I don't think it was. Looks like he lost it going through Blanchemont as well. Oh. Oh, okay. Thomas Ascari, serious issue there for him. It's like a wheel disconnected or something. That is an odd one. As we come back in, and he's still just having an awful time. Not on with it. Derek Sun here on the back of Steve Hughes. We got Jonathan Shungle off at Les Combes. He has spun at Les Combes. Derek Sun just made a mistake there as well. Holy yeah. Oh god. He spun out of Pouhon and hit the wall. Oh boy. Everything's happening now. Because while all this is happening as well, Brennan is once again right on the back of Henley, and this is the start of the last lap for these two. Yeah, it's about the time that Michael Massey would throw out a virtual safety car, and then a regular safety car, and then a regular reset of the race, and then a half reset of the race, and then no reset of the race. But Brennan so far has not managed to make it there, which basically means, unless there's some big mistake from Ollie, Brennan's only chance is going to be to send it into the chicane at the end of the lap. We'll sit on board with this once again. This is the closest battle on track once now, so we will see them through to the checkered flag. Fortunately, not looking close enough to make a move going into the last corner, but this means Ollie Henley will be your victor for today as he comes around the final corner.
Leader has finished the race.
As we settle up here, we try and get a camera on the fireworks as well as on the end of the race. There we go, that's a better angle for that, isn't it? Look at that. So there's Shane Thomas coming across the line. Got a little bit of a last minute battle here for the next few places, but none going to change before the checkered flag. And was that someone retiring early? Where is the... Oh, I think the checkered flag is actually like way further down. This white line is not the checkered flag. There's so many different lines on this. Yeah, you can see the checkered flag waving right at the end of the pit wall there. Basically, as soon as you get past the start of the pit wall, this is where it ends. Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody, for watching us. Ollie Henley is your victor today, with Oyston Brennan and Shane Thomas on the podium. Jamie Nuttall, Nico Smits, Jack Harvey, Steve Hughes, Derek Sun, and Mr. T are the top 9. We then have Greg Ludgate, who will be in 10th, Martin Roundtree, who will be in 11th, and Steve Donald, I believe, will be 12th after his penalty, with Mindaugas Sortulas, John Dudley, and Octavian Robu rounding out the points-paying positions. So thank you everyone for watching. It's been another great pro race here at ACC Sim Series. Discord link down below if you want to come and join us for some more races. Next week will be Barcelona. And looking forward to that. The hour 30 extended finale that we have in every split. There, the confirmation of, as I said, Donald down to 12th. So I will throw you on some ads. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with us. And then I'll throw you to some other Assetto Corsa Competizione streamer while we hang out and talk about the race. So thank you very much, and we will see you. We won't sadly do Friday again, so we'll see you with Roy Weller next Saturday for the start of the finale of this season, and I'll be back on Sunday. See ya.